What is up, guys? Back in the house on what is it? Thursday today. Um, I haven't listened to this X Spaces at all, and I was about to listen to it, and I was just like, okay, what a perfect opportunity to do a reaction and do it live. We'll do it live with the whole Bill O'Reilly thing, right? Bill O'Reilly thing, right? Um, as always, though, cue my guy Indigo Saint. Let's get it. Boom.
Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Blackrue Investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer? Best believe I was Blackrue Investing. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifested. So we binge on that Blackrue Investing. Best believe I was Blackrue Investing. Got course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. So thank God for that Blackrue Investing. Best believe I was Blackrue Investing.
What is up, guys? We're in here on a Thursday. We're just gonna get straight into the we're just gonna get straight into it, and I want to hear what they say about this whole compliance thing. Yeah, I want to hear how they handle it. So let's just get straight into it, and we won't even do the Decent Wallet commercial. Well, we'll do the Decent Wallet commercial. Shout out to the guys for Decent. We're gonna play that commercial right now.
Your crypto deserves the best protection. So why settle for less? Decent Crypto Wallet isn't just another wallet. It's safe, secure, easy to use, and supports your favorite cryptocurrencies all at the touch of a button. And now with my exclusive link, you'll save $30 on your new wallet. Better security, smarter investing, $30 in your pocket. Click on the link now and secure your better security today.
So it's an excellent way to help the channel and help yourselves at the same time. $30 off for one wallet, $99 off for two. Somebody bought a wallet yesterday. So, if you really want to help the channel, help yourself too, and buy cold storage with Decent Wallet. You can do swaps on there. You can buy your XDC. You can buy XDC on there, ZBCN, XCN. It's a glorious thing, See, we got a whole bunch of people in the house today. Let's go. But yeah, let's just get straight into this compliance. Let me share the screen here. Okay. And we're going to confirm here that you guys can hear the sound.
And then Wojtek, also come off mute and give us a hello.
Everyone.
There he is. Hey, man. How you doing, man?
Okay. Can you guys hear the sound? Let me know if you can hear the sound or not. Yeah, just say if you guys can hear the sound, just say sound is good. We can hear the Zebec sound. Okay, all good with the Zebec sound. We'll get into it right now then. Let's go. Okay, let me close this. Okay, and yeah, so we'll get right into Zebec sound now.
Hey, very well. Yourself?
Perfect. Look at that. We got 4 speakers all up here. This is what we need. Whew. Right, JJ, how are you, man?
Pretty good. Very busy morning, but that's obviously good. How about you, man?
Yeah, excellent. Let's get this thing moving, I think.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll be on the background, and then just I'll let you take over.
Love it. Thanks so much. Welcome everybody. Another Zebec special spaces. Today we're talking compliance in Web3. I'm your host, Ben White. You'll have seen me around now. This is 4th, 5th, 6th spaces that I've hosted. We also started pushing some really exciting videos that we've been running. It's been a lot of fun. Joined today by Simon, COO at Zebec, Wojtek, and Nick, who I will introduce a little bit more formally in a little bit. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate you. We're a couple of minutes in now, so a few more will join, I'm sure. And whilst we're waiting for that to happen, I guess it's really important. It's a funny one today. We were talking. We had a call prior to the spaces because we like to run through these things, make sure everyone knows what's what. And compliance. It's one of those kind of subjects, a grey subject, isn't it? Where it can often be kind of like overlooked and perhaps shrugged off a little bit. Feels like a bit of a boring or unnecessary thing to talk about. Actually, when you dig into it and we're really fortunate to be joined by two real professionals and experts in the field. It's both exciting in terms of where it's taking the space in the future, and also totally misunderstood. And so I think it's really exciting to cover.
Gonna pause it there. Yeah, I believe compliance is really misunderstood. And as always, guys, come on in, and as you come in, we will definitely answer questions. Yes, this is a live space, or well, this spaces was live like about 8 hours ago, but this is a live show. This is a live show. Yeah. So as far as compliance, everyone thought that compliance would ruin crypto. They thought, okay, crypto is a challenge to the banking authority. It's a challenge to the petrodollar. And really, in all honesty, cryptocurrency is banking 2.0. If you look behind the XRPs of the world, the strongholds of the world, you have some of the biggest and richest banking families. Really, cryptocurrency is banking 2.0, really, when you get to it. So compliance is actually going to help cryptocurrency, especially institutions, if Donald Trump passes a zero capital gains tax for American cryptocurrencies. So as much as there's so much strife and hardship and uncertainty around cryptocurrency in America, all the biggest cryptocurrencies actually originated in America. Go figure, right? Or at least they're headquartered in America, because that seems to be how it's judged. Because Solana, I don't think they were started in America, but since they have a headquarters in America, they're deeming them American cryptocurrency, just like Telcoin, which I don't think they were started in America. Telcoin is also headquartered in America, so they're deeming them an American cryptocurrency. So in essence, compliance and regulation will actually be a boon for cryptocurrency. Okay, for those who can actually stick in and hold on to their Bitcoin, hold on to their XRP, hold on to their ZBCN, it's actually going to be a boon for us, right? All the biggest American cryptocurrencies will actually incentivize institutional investors to invest in them, hold them, stake them, and possibly have passive income there. So let's go ahead and continue on here.
Cover this today, whether you're a founder, an investor, a user, just curious about the future of digital finance and compliance in this space, then this is a conversation for you. Before we meet our guests, I want to bring Simon in from Zebec, who I think will spread a bit of light in terms of why this conversation really matters right now. So, hey, Simon, how you doing?
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for that great introduction. And hello to everyone on the spaces from the community. Excited to have everyone here. As Ben said, today we are talking compliance, an issue in crypto, not an issue, but an area of crypto that does not get enough attention and is very important to a payments business like Zebec. So really excited to be diving deep into some compliance topics today to discuss what Zebec.
Ooh, he dropped a little gem there. Very important to a payments crypto like Zebec. Of course, that would be very important when you talk about payments, that you're compliant, because you're going to be handling people's pay. They have that, you would have to be compliant to handle people's paychecks, right? You're going to see people's personal information, their banking information, so that's an area where you're really going to be compliant. And especially I've hinted at with compliance in ZBCN, that also leads into retirement. And it can also lead into, with the Zebec card, it can lead into daily use. So it's going to be very important for these guys to be compliant.
Has been doing in the compliance space, what is on our compliance roadmap, and of course, bringing in two of our really star advisors here in the compliance space to get their thoughts as well.
Love that. Thank you. And before we get into it, I've got a couple of questions for you, actually, Simon. I don't know, obviously the space is wrapped with people talking about it at the moment. What were your views on the US Senate passing this Stablecoin Genius Act earlier in the week?
Well, I could say this is enormously positive news for the industry. It's a huge boost to any company that is operating with stablecoins like Zebec, of course, as we built our payroll system on the USDC currency. Stablecoins are a 200 billion plus segment of the crypto industry, and they're growing incredibly fast. And that really shows the demand from the market for increased usage for stablecoins, as they are faster, quicker, cheaper than fiat alternatives. And it gives us, as a crypto operator, some sort of regulatory clarity that banks can now operate in the world of stablecoins and digital assets.
Whoa, okay, we might have to turn that down, turn this back a little bit. Okay, so he's mentioning a lot about stablecoins here. Now, there's one thing that we might actually want to check as a community. I know there was some like previous document, I think that the World Bank or someone issued, where they referred to Ripple and XLM as a stablecoin. They refer to them both as stablecoins. Are they stablecoins? I'm not sure if that's their destination. Of course, Ripple has the RL USD, which is its own stablecoin. But are they also still considered stablecoins, Ripple and XLM? I don't know. But to have the stablecoin legislation passed, we've been talking about the Genius Act around here for quite a while. Shout out to Jetpack. Shout out to Maximus Crypto. This really gives like kind of a open door to me, or a gateway, which Tim Draper called it. I think he called it a gateway or a bridge, if you will, to Bitcoin. But you could also call it a gateway or a bridge to Ripple, RLUSD, or a gateway or a bridge to traditional fiat with PayPal USD, or a gateway or a bridge to the Stellar ecosystem with USDC, or a gateway or bridge to gold with Paxos. Like, you name it, you know, you can keep going, right? Or everything that USDC connects to, right? So really, stablecoins are the pathway, maybe, to all the institutional money coming into the market, right? So, and then once that pathway is set, I think the next pathway is going to be, how can we legally stake? Okay, what's the compliant portion of staking? But this is juicy, so I'm going to go back just a little bit here, so we can hear him in regular speed.
Any company that is operating with stablecoins like Zebec, of course, as we built our payroll system on the USDC currency. Stablecoins are a 200 billion plus segment of the crypto industry, and they're
And also note that with USDC, excuse me, with Circle being a publicly traded company now, as Circle has been surging, so has Zebec. To me, that only strengthens our argument that Circle and Zebec, they're partnered. We know they're partnered. We know they knocked a lot of doors down, so to speak, as far as regulatory and etc. for ZBCN, and we're seeing that with them kind of correlating in price.
they're growing incredibly fast, and that really shows the demand from the market for increased usage for stablecoins, as they are faster, quicker, cheaper than fiat alternatives. And it gives us, as the crypto operator, some sort of regulatory clarity that banks can now operate in the world of stablecoins and digital assets. And it's really helping build trust in the stablecoin ecosystem as well. So, for Zebec, as the company that I mentioned, has built a lot of our infrastructure on the Circle infrastructure network as well as USDC. It's a great step forward.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, there are rumors now off the back of that some of the major US banks are looking to issue their own stable coins. Question, and I appreciate, feel free to give me as much or as little information as you can. Would you guys be open to supporting bank issued stable coins?
I mean, it's all very early at this point. I think we've seen the news from Bank of America that they're considering issuing a stablecoin. JP Morgan, who we already work with closely, they're looking at issuing a stablecoin. I think
Confirmation of working with JP Morgan. Oh my gosh, here, let me drink a little water here. Confirmation of working with JP Morgan. And really, banks already kind of have their own quote unquote stablecoin, if you follow me for just a second here. 1 second, guys. My throat is killing me. So yeah, banks already have their own stable coins here. In that when you put your money onto the banking system, it's almost like they're validating that they will for one support your money. So like essentially, even though it used to be more back in the day, now they actually don't have to have any reserves to reserve your money. But back in the day, banks used to have to keep like a certain amount in reserve in case like everybody came to return and get their money. So essentially, any bank that you have your money in that's backed by Chase dollars, if it's Chase, or if it's like a credit union, it's backed by those credit union dollars, or if it's like Bank of America, is backed by Bank of America dollars, so to speak. So it's interesting, but again, this would be banks kind of having now their own bridge really into cryptocurrency. So maybe some of them may choose to make their own dollars. Well, we already know JPM dollar digital already exists, but good that Simon points out that they already kind of have this partnership here. Let me just get some water right quick, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, back. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's have Simon continue here.
We are going to adopt more of a wait and see approach given our long-standing relationship with Circle. Of course, we're a member of the Circle Alliance program. So we are all in on USDC right now. And when Circle wins, so does Zebec.
Love that.
Ooh.
And
Well,
Sorry.
question. Yeah, I love that. And appreciate our guests.
Circle Alliance program. So
he said when Circle wins, so does the back. Interesting. Let's go on.
We are all in on USDC right now. And when Circle wins, so does Zebec.
Love that. Absolutely. And appreciate you. Sorry if that was dropped on you there, 2 questions, but obviously it's the talk of the town at the moment. So I just wanted to get your view on it. Let's bring in our guests. I think really important. We've got 2 voices, 2 advisors to Zebec, as you've said, who, I mean, they've both helped shape both traditional and digital finance to some extent. Wojtek Zatorski, who I met a couple of weeks ago as well, is the founder of Gatenox and now part of Zebec. He also created Blik, which is Poland's leading mobile payment system with over 15.
Shout out to Blue Collar Crypto, because he told us about Wojtek. I think I'm saying that right. Wojtek created Blik and how important it was to Poland. He told us that right when the partnership was announced. Shout out to Blue Collar Crypto. He's definitely a good follow. If you guys are not following him on X, definitely do so. We'll definitely probably go look at his Twitter, his X, in just a minute after this is done.
15 million users. And Nick here is the co-founder of Strata Global, an FCA-regulated firm specializing in digital asset compliance. He's also a former independent director at Wells Fargo, the investment bank, and brings decades of experience from across TradFi and Web3. 2 really, really interesting voices from the space who I think can really shed some light on where we're moving and what's happening. So I'm going to bring you both in, but I guess before I do that, hey, both of you, are you well? Are you good?
Yeah, very good. Welcome everyone, and thanks, Ben for intro.
Love it, love it.
Um,
Thank you so
l-
much.
Likewise, thank
Go,
you.
go.
Thank you for having me here. It's an unusual place for me to be speaking, or for a compliance bod to be asked to speak, but more than happy to.
I was saying earlier, I actually think from a Web3 perspective, it's really exciting to talk about compliance. It's something that perhaps not enough of the space is really facing up to and taking seriously. So to be able to get your take on that, I think is really interesting, but also to then combine that with the direction that Zebec is moving in is also essential. So I'm going to put this to both of you, Wojtek first and then Nick coming afterwards. Why is compliance in Web3 so often misunderstood? And why do you think founders should really start to take it seriously?
Well, it's misunderstood because it's a hustle, and everyone focuses on ease of use and everything. And
By the way, he said hassle, not hustle, because it sounded like he said hustle. I'm like, it's a hustle. Geez, tell us how you really feel, Wojciech. But no, he said it's a hassle. It's a hassle. Um,
it brings costs, brings hassle to both companies and the users. But what is not very well understood is that compliance is about the trust. And with the cryptocurrency and Web3 becoming more and more mainstream, attracting more users and attracting especially institutional investors and institutions, this is becoming quite important for Web3 founders to actually look at the compliance from a perspective of building trust in the community, building trust with the institutions, and minimizing the risk, because compliance at its core is actually about risk management and making sure that the situations like FTX and Luna, etc., won't happen in the future.
From
Love that.
so right there, he says, compliance is about trust, and of course, in a certain sense, compliance is about trust. But if you want to look at it at the way that cryptocurrency was, what it was originally invented for, or the way it was presented to us at least, was that okay, now the power is in our hands to have our own compliance, our own trust, um, with the way that we send cryptocurrency. But of course, if you're putting that in the world of we've seen crypto scams, we've seen the FTXs, but even besides the FTXs, people pretending to be a website and they're not. They'll copy the website and they'll pretend like they're that website. um you know there's also banking scams, the Nigerian prince and all this, oh, the whole like we're the Department of American Driving, and you have a ticket, and so you know what I mean, those like scams. So in a sense, compliance does, you know kind of protect you from things like that, where it's like, okay, this is a compliant banking association that has compliance to hold your money, has insurance to hold your money. So should something happen, it's insured to, however much of money. I think it's like 150,000 or 250,000. So it's about trust and safety, knowing that, okay, well, my money's there, but should something happen, like it's insured, and I can always go and get that money back, right? So in that sense, this is what compliance is for, and this is why it's really important for a company like Zebec, because if they're going to be doing stuff like payroll, you really want to make sure that they have your money, right? So let's continue.
Yeah, Nick, sorry, I'll let you carry. I'll let you follow
yeah,
on.
no, I agree with that. But if I take the question back a little bit further and say, trust in compliance is a two-way thing. One of which is for the firm to ensure that everything is done in a compliant way. But trust is also on the firm's expectations on the regulator. Is it good regulation? Undoubtedly in the traditional finance space, and much more growing in the Web3 space, is having that clarity of decent regulation so we can get on and run our business. We can make some money without screwing people and causing a major collapse in any way like that. So good regulation and good compliance allows us to thrive. And you can see that in different jurisdictions where there's bad regulation or no regulation. Who wants to go there? But we'll come to that bit later on. But I think some other parts to your question there, it's the people. The people typically haven't come from the traditional space, which is where I came from. And by the way, I just chuck it out there. I was on the board of one very large crypto firm. I was a non-executive at a retail crypto firm. I did spend 2 years building a bank-backed stablecoin with some people. So I've been around.
Wow, bank-backed stablecoin. They're like this guy's credentials are insane.
But we'll come to that bit later on. But I think some other collapse in any way like that. So good regulation and good compliance, so we can get on and run our business. We can make some money without screwing people and causing a major collapse in any way like that. So good regulation and good compliance allows us to thrive. And you can see that in different jurisdictions where there's bad regulation or no regulation. Who wants to go there? But we'll come to that bit later on. But I think some other parts to your question there, it's the people. The people typically haven't come from the traditional space, which is where I came from. And by the way, I just chuck it out there. I was on the board of one very large crypto firm. I was a non-executive at a retail crypto firm. I did spend 2 years building a bank-backed stablecoin with some people. So I've been around the block a bit to see the differences between TradFi and the Web3. But when I come to the people, if you haven't come and grown up in the sector where the regulated sector where you have to behave and you're required to behave, and that used to run the basis of we knew who the charlatans were and you wouldn't deal with them. And that's really self-regulation. Now we have better regulation on the top of it. Similarly, a number of the people, which is why I left one of those crypto firms, didn't get the point of compliance and thought it was a tick box approach. So no good governance. My mantra is I'm not.
Okay, so he's giving a little bit of his credentials and why it's important to have compliance. Again, we know Zebec is a payroll cryptocurrency. So it's going to be very, very important for these guys to have compliance, right? And again, we know with USDY, which they're related to with Ondo and Stellar, it's a yield-bearing stablecoin. And this is what I think is the actual end game for all this compliance, is to have staking, right? And to have it so people can generate passive income from holding on to these cryptocurrencies, sort of in the way that like people on the stock market generate passive income from holding on to dividend yielding stocks, right? So that's what they're setting up here. But they have to do it in a compliant way.
I'm not going to go to prison for anyone, so you're going to do it properly. So I also come down to that people part and say the compliance people haven't done a particularly good job for their boards of directors or their founders. And in my world, I'd say 70%, and I'd be quite interested to do a poll on that, about 70% of business prevention officers, about 20% are actually proactive and therefore drive compliance to make a better business, and 10% are just a complete waste of time. There we go, there's my view.
I love it. And I guess a really good opportunity then to carry on from your view, if you don't mind, Nick.
So and a lot of the ways that compliance can be really safe, secure, and trusting, right? It can also be limiting. Now, follow what I'm saying here, and this is not a negative, but it's a big positive for Zebec. So, if you wanted to get into being a payment crypto, right, you would have to be compliant. So, it's probably going to be extremely, extremely, extremely hard for you to be a competitor to Zebec because the amount of hurdles you would have to jump to be compliant, the amount of people that you would have to know, hint, like Circle, World Economic Forum, things like that. Like people like think that it is a bad thing, but in this instance, right, it's a really, really good thing because if you don't know these people, if you are not able to be on these level with these people, you can't be compliant. So in that sense, who's going to be Zebec's competitor? Like how can you how can you already compete with a company that's gone through with Circle? And you guys have seen my mind maps where I've connected them to BlackRock, where I've connected them to Visa. We know they're partnered with Solana, Zero Hash, you name it, right? Lightspeed Partners. So in that instance, more than likely, right? Not financial advice, do your own research. Zebec has no competitors, okay? None, because they're not going to be able to be in the room to be compliant with them, if that makes sense.
Obviously, as you've just stated, you've worked at the highest levels in the TradFi space. How do you think those expectations carry over and into Web3?
Good question. On the basis of whatever happens, Web3 still has to be a participant in the broader financial services sector, wherever you may be located. And that's one of the problems of the original people. And I go back 10, 12 years in this, which is we decentralize, we don't have to abide by any rules, etc., etc. And then suddenly they wake up to the fact that, using the US as an example, the long reach of the SEC and the FINRA across the globe suddenly catches up with you. And look what happened to CZ from Binance with that long reach. Very difficult to play if you are on the bad boys list in your business. And of course, the fiat money has to go somewhere. You start getting cut off from all of those positions, game over. Worse, you go to prison before you've even started your business. But we can go down that route as well later.
Yeah, or not.
Or not, as I said.
Well, yeah, he's pointing out a point where it's like, okay, well, if you're not compliant, then it's possible you can be jailed. It's possible that all these things can happen to you if you're not compliant. This is not a worry of Zebec's, but that's just something that he should point out, right?
We're not going to prison, please, on this one. So.
Great answer. Yeah. Wojtek, I'm really interested. I mean, we've spoken about the fact now that Zebec has acquired GateKnox, and you've come into the Zebec network now to advise and work on this stuff. Talk to us then a little bit about GateKnox and the problem that it was built to solve, and how it differs from traditional compliance tooling at the same time.
Sure. First of all, Nick, I totally agree that the regulations need to be adjusted to the space that they address, and traditional finance regulations don't necessarily do it still quite well. Obviously, there is progress with this, and the best example how the traditional finance approach in compliance doesn't fit the new digital age, and especially the crypto space where the transactions happen quickly and you expect to be able to onboard almost instantaneously, is KYC and KYB processes. and especially KYB processes where you need to review the entire company. So those processes are still slow, expensive, and very often manual. The traditional process is very labor intensive. It relies on compliance officers manually reviewing papers, and this isn't something that is fit for the 21st century. So what we've been doing in GateNox is we actually build GateNox to provide services for Web3 industry, where the expectation is that this process is going to happen rapidly. So obviously, we've been trying to make this process as easy and quick as possible for both sides of the equation. The companies that are onboarding and also the service providers. So on one side, from a perspective of the companies that onboard, the biggest problem is that you provide the same documents over and over again, and you ask the same questions, and it takes extremely long time. And a lot of this information that you're being asked is actually publicly available, and you can obtain it. And instead of asking these questions, just ask for confirmation. So this is what we've been doing on the client side, and on the compliance officer side, we've been utilizing AI processes to go.
Okay, so let's start there first. So basically, it seems to me what he's saying is instead of asking for this information over and over again, we'll just go to the centralized source and just confirm it. Because the centralized source has already got it. They know that it's what it is, right? They know that you are who you are. All we got to do now is just confirm. Okay, is this the right person? Which is interesting. The way he's mentioning it, it's almost as if they have a direct line to the centralized place, whatever that place is. So they could just say, confirm with the centralized place, is this who we think it is? Is this Ruel, right? Just confirm. And they'll confirm, and they'll do it through the blockchain as opposed to, doing it manually where they're like somebody has to go, to the city hall and like, okay, was he born here? Is he this, is this number right? Is that his SSN and all of this other stuff, right? It's just done over the blockchain, and it's just a confirmation as opposed to rechecking all the information again, right?
Go through documents and analyze the risk to provide feedback to the compliance officer as quickly as possible.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please do.
And as Wojciech says, if we think about one of my earlier comments of the business prevention officer, the area of compliance that we're talking about here on the onboarding is a cost center. It's not a profit center. How can we turn it into a profit center to make sure it becomes a lot more efficient? And that's something that I try to do when I talk to firms about this. And just to give you an example of that, 20 years ago, it would take however long, or a couple of weeks to onboard somebody manually. And I recall when the CFD and rolling spot firm started up, it cost about $800 to onboard a client. That did include the marketing spend. Now, that's now come down rapidly.
Oh, Nick, I think we lost you there. You're back on mute.
It just pinged out. I think coming back to what Wojciech was saying, that the cost has reduced massively because of the efficiencies of the technology. But the technology in the traditional firms is blinking ancient, and they can't adapt it very quickly. And that technology, if I can always put in human technology, they are processors, they're tick boxes. This is the way we've always done it. We're not going to do it again. And that's the problem of changing this. Which is why I just love the Web3 world, where there's much more efficiency, understanding that we can throw away that technology and bring in new. So I give.
Okay, so what I'm hearing him say is like the cost of validating a person has come down, where it used to cost like $800. It's now cheaper now because of blockchain because of AI, rational databases, like computer and programming languages, the cost to validate a person and the amount of time that it takes to validate a person, both of those things are coming down probably exponentially, right? So, yeah, that's awesome.
Give you an example of that. Any crypto firm at the moment trying to open a bank account.
So essentially, if you were a person trying to do this like the Stone Age way, you would be costing yourself not only money but time. But if you switched over to Zebec and the resources it has, you will save yourself both money and time. So really, you would be ahead of the game if you switch to their system. Um, like just miles ahead of the game um, when you consider their system. So again, if you're a company like Visa, if you're a company like Mastercard, if you're a company like ADP, you're really going to want to do this so you stay ahead of the competition, right? So for them, it would be a must, right? So yeah.
Why does it take 10 months just to get into the queue and then somebody to start looking for it? And then they ask for a Wolfsburg form. I don't know if any of the listeners here have seen a Wolfsburg form. It's 100 questions, which is applicable to a correspondent bank or a bank-to-bank relationship. So why are you sending that out to a crypto firm? It's of no relevance at all. That's because we have to tick a box and say we've done it. And that comes back to the point, as Wojciech said, of being able to understand what we're getting in the KYC area of the Wolfsburg form says, yes, I've got all of these policies and procedures and governance in place, tick a box, we can move on. But what Vortex and GateNox is doing, it's got the OKRs in there. It's showing the effectiveness of what you've actually done. And it's allowing the thinking to go on rather than the box ticking. So, yeah, well done, Vortex.
Yeah. And not only that, if you think about this going forward, in blockchain space, you already have a concept of zero knowledge proofs and selective disclosures. So the approach that I believe is going to be taking more and more interest is actually storing all this information in a secure encrypted way on the blockchain and allowing you to share as much information or as little information as is really needed. But for that, we need some changes in regulations as well, because if you think about this, and I don't know if you agree with this, Nick, but a lot of those questions are totally unnecessary. And for me to prove that I'm over 18, I don't really need to give you the full picture of ID. It's enough that you trust that my identity has been verified. And
Okay, so now they're actually getting into a world of things that blockchain has been talking about for a while. Different companies like ArcBlock, right, which is digital identity, DID, right? Um, there might have to be certain entities, and like Volchek said, they're going to need to be more regulation for this. There'll be certain companies like an ArcBlock, like probably Zebec as well, like I think also XPR was talking about this. There'll be certain companies that will be allowed to verify your digital identity, and your digital identity will walk and go around with you just like your social security card does. Because essentially, your social security card is for you American people. Your social security card is a tokenization of who you are. That number is a tokenization of who you are. Of course, having that number means you have to do certain things, means you're entitled to certain things, means you have to do certain things, you know, you know, is what it is. That's a whole conversation about that number and what you're entitled to or not entitled to or forced into or not forced into. We won't go into that, but essentially it is a tokenization of you as, whoever you are, right? And with that number, you can find out a whole bunch about your identity. So now, if we put that into like your digital identity, it would be essentially your digital social security card, more or less, right?
It's that I am in fact over 18.
I
You don't even need my birth date for that.
I quite agree with you, but a firm, then we come up against the regulator, and the regulator, wherever they may be,
Exactly.
who generally has a process to follow, and they will expect to see certain things, even though they are pointless or irrelevant. And maybe if I throw that out and say, have a look at the FCA enforcements here in the UK and see how many times they have enforced against a firm for actual financial crime compared to enforcing for them in process failure. So that's half the problem in the traditional finance world, is we've got to demonstrate the process first, not that our clients are criminal. Different problem.
Fascinating stuff. Really, really interesting. And thanks so much for both of your insights on it. Simon, I want to bring the conversation back over to you then. Obviously, we're starting to get a picture now of what GateKnox was created for and what it kind of provides. What do you think it?
So it seems like to me that GateKnox is not just kind of KYC. It's kind of like a digital identity company. Like it's a DID company. So they essentially purchased uh enhanced like kind of DID company. So it's gonna do KYC, but it's gonna do beyond KYC. So it almost creates like a digital identity for whomever, right? And yeah, so that seems what GateKnox is.
Unlocks now for the Zebec ecosystem.
Well, the GateKnox acquisition is a big win for the Zebec ecosystem. Of course, at Zebec, we are disrupting the global payroll system, which has largely remained unchanged for the past 50 years. With stablecoin regulation, now
See, I'm glad he keeps saying that. You said that in another spaces too. The payroll side of things is using like ancient technology. We're still like basically essentially using IBM computers, like IBM stuff for our banking sector. So of course that's been upgraded over time, but payroll specifically, that sector is kind of really lagging behind. Um, like of course there's no reason why we shouldn't be paid to the second. And in a sense, I'm sure a lot of companies kind of benefit from not having to pay their employees for 2 weeks or a month or whatever. But in this instance, with blockchain, it's going to benefit them to use the blockchain and do it faster and smarter and cheaper, and probably get some type of staking benefit, or also get to hire the best and brightest talent because they're getting paid instantly, right? So there that is, right?
now paving the way for the industry to finally see an acceleration in the adoption of crypto payroll, compliance is becoming front and center. And that's really where GateKnox fits in. So compliance, it has to be embedded within the infrastructure of the payment network for this to really work on a global scale. And many payment networks that rely on outsourced providers for compliance will be at a disadvantage to those who embed compliance tech into their stack. And that is exactly what we're doing now as we integrate the GateKnox acquisition into the Zebec tech stack.
So interesting. So they're not using the language DID, because I think with some, DID means like, okay, you're now like really controlling my identity, or like to me it's no different than a social security card. So if if you got a social security card and you got DID, what's the difference? So essentially what it sounds like to me is that they're embedding DID within their payroll stack, which which to me opens a lot of doors. This is just speculation on my part, but if they embed DID into their payroll stack, essentially you can take that DID with you anywhere. You could be, you can use that for your Zebec card. You can use that on the metaverse. You can use that for retirement. you can use that for whatever and be like compliance level validated with your DID. Um, which I can't imagine the doors that that opens for you, at least quickly, compliance wise, if that is all compliance driven, right? And we've been talking about that like back in the day when we would cover like arc block regularly, right? I think DID, as far as DID, um, now imagine your social security card being like like digital, but digitally like compliant. Where okay, well, you got your DID kind of compliant in like a Jasmy data locker type of way, but now you can put it, you can send it anywhere and still trust that it's going to be compliant, but you can do it digitally. So to me, that seems like it could be very fast and efficient. And again, like Simon said, anyone who's not doing that is going to be at a real disadvantage.
For us, integrating GateKnox has allowed us compliance. We'll be at a disadvantage where GateKnox fits in. So compliance, it has to be embedded within the infrastructure of the payment network for this to really work on a global scale. And many payment networks that rely on outsourced providers for compliance will be at a disadvantage to those who embed compliance tech into their stack.
That is very profound what he's saying right there. So essentially what he's saying is if you haven't, this is my speculation, not financial advice. And I might be adding more to what he's saying, but this is just my opinion. This is just my thought. If you don't have digital ID embedded into your like payroll, you're going to be at a disadvantage. That's what I'm hearing him say. If digital identity is not embedded into your payroll, into your stack, you're at a disadvantage. So that's pretty powerful, especially when you're considering he has Circle behind him. We know Circle is a member of the World Economic Forum. We've also hinted at them having BlackRock partnerships. He already told us that they had he already told us they have a JP Morgan partnership. So when he says that, that holds a lot of weight. It holds a very much a lot of weight. And when I that him saying that I mean is that digital identity is going to be embedded into your payroll stack, and those who don't have it will be disadvantaged. That's pivotal.
And that is exactly what we're doing now as we integrate the GateKnox acquisition into the Zebec tech stack. For us, integrating GateKnox has allowed us to embed KYC and KYB for all Zebec users and partners directly into our flow. So that means that we have complete ownership over the customer onboarding flow. We have complete ownership over the data, which also ensures security of that data. We lower our costs by bringing in compliance in-house rather than paying outsourced providers. And then as we look down the road, this also gives us the potential to white label our own compliance solution to other crypto platforms, as we view this will be a growth area in the market.
Man, this is huge. This is huge. So now put this together with all of these Zebec card partnerships. So they essentially could white label being able to move your digital identity around. So essentially, again, this could make things very, very much easier for you and easier for you as a consumer. And that if you now are like kind of putting yourself in the metaverse, you could use your Zebec card and carry that digital identity anywhere around in the metaverse. But at the same time, this makes Zebec really flexible in that they could move that digital identity anywhere they needed it to be for you, or anywhere you wanted it to be for you. Um, that really blows me away. Like there's an infinite amount of possibilities there in thinking like where your digital identity could be, as far as like when you think about certain things like Jenny Co. This was a company on DAG in which they were talking about like medical records and stuff like that, and you selling your medical records for people to do certain, certain things that they wanted to do with your medical records, but they will basically buy medical data from you to perform tests or surveys or whatever. You can now use that, move that with your digital identity. You could now again like go into a metaverse. You could use that again. We know that they're partnered with the Science Card. You could use that for your tuition, um, for your for your university. That digital identity could go there. There's a whole bunch of um, things, places where that could be used. And again, some people might think of it as like, oh, like this a invasion of privacy? Like, why do they have my digital identity? This is the same as you putting your social security card or your social security number on compliance paperwork or on some like contract, but now it's digital. It's literally kind of the same thing, but just digital, digitalized. um. So yeah.
And
Massive.
hopefully, Simon, also speed up.
Providers. And then as we look down the road, this also gives us the potential to white label our own compliance solution to other crypto platforms, as we view this will be a growth area in the market.
And
Massive.
hopefully, Simon, also speed up the checks, because these are very often the major cause of users dropping off the onboarding, right?
It's a point of friction, whether you're signing up for a card or you're doing a full KYB to use payroll. The quicker.
I saw a question there. I kind of want to answer it. Um, Honestly, B Fields, I think companies would still be able to float you money, but even now, they could float you money, but now they could take a digital collateral for it. So they could say like, okay, well, we can float you money for 2 weeks, but you know, we see here with your digital identity that you have this. Well, put that up for collateral so we know that if you just decided to leave the company in a week and we would be out of our money, that we can have this as digital collateral. I mean, that could be a way to do it. Um, it could also be, okay, well, yeah, we'll do that. We'll float you money for 2 weeks, but you have to like, yeah, there would be some type of digital collateral you would probably have to give them, as opposed to, because if they floated you money and you just left tomorrow, like, haha, I got that money, you floated it to me for 2 weeks and I left. Um, then they could just now take that digital collateral and they're not out of that 2 weeks of money, if that makes sense. So yeah, that would now, it would essentially kind of be easier for them to float you money for 2 weeks or more, because they now have collateral in case you renege on them. So yeah. So to be honest, yeah, it probably makes that easier. Um, because again, remember, we're saying that this can also be tied into your and this also makes it, to me, it seems like it would make it easier to tie this into retirement funds or 401k, because it's easy to have your identity there, your digital identity there. Again, just like electric social security card, if you would, in that they can very easily say, okay, well, with his digital identity, we can just confirm now, okay, this is him. We know this is him because we have his digital identity. Okay, let's just put this money up for his 401k. And now you could use your 401k as collateral in a way simpler, easier way, because it's just sitting over here in the digital space. I mean, that's what I would think. That's what I would think. It would also be easier to do like um, loans and stuff, because you can do digital collateral on tokenized your house or tokenized your car or tokenized any asset that someone deemed asset enough to tokenize. Hence, we have, with the carbon credits and all of that stuff too. So, honestly, as much as people may not like this on its face, as far as like privacy, as far as getting loans and different things done, this would be this would be easier. This would be a lot easier. Um, but of course, you would have to be a company like Zebec that could have digital ID integrated within your stack. So anybody that doesn't have um, digital ID integrated within their stack is going to be like Simon said, at a severe disadvantage. So honestly, that little tidbit alone was worth this entire video, because this is now going to have Zebec as a first mover as far as like digital identity goes. They're going to be not only a first mover with that, like an arc block, but they're also going to have it within their payroll stack. So they're really going to be at an advantage when it comes to other companies, because they're going to have this in their payroll stack. Again, this is another very, very, very good reason to say Zebec to $1, because they're going to have this within their payroll stack. This is crazy. So let's continue here. And again, this is me saying it's DID. He didn't say it's DID, but if you listen to the words he's saying, as far as like, okay, we're gonna have KYC and all of this kind of integrated within our stack. To me, this is synonymous with DID. So I just wanna make that clear that I'm saying this and Simon's not saying that. But to me, it seems like it's DID. Okay, but they just don't, for whatever reason, they're not using that word. Okay, so let me continue here.
It is, the higher the conversion rate.
Exactly. Users dropping off the onboarding.
A growth area in the market.
Massive.
In-house rather than paying outsourced providers. And then as we look down the road over the customer onboarding flow, we have complete ownership over the data, which also ensures security of that data. We lower our costs by bringing in compliance in-house rather than paying outsourced providers. And then as we look down the road, this also gives us the potential to white label our own compliance solution to other crypto platforms, as we view this will be a growth area in the market.
Massive.
Hopefully, Simon, also speed up the checks, because these are very often the major cause of users dropping off the onboarding, right?
It's a point of friction, whether you're signing up for a card or you're doing a full KYB to use payroll. The quicker it is, the higher the conversion rate.
Yeah, and we've heard of this before, right? Like with some companies, they will hold your first pet check in a hold for 2 weeks. And the reason why they do that is because they want to, or at least I'm assuming the reason they do that is because they want to verify that you are this person. And it takes some time to kind of work through the system. So you always kind of have like 2 weeks in the hole, so to speak. And also, it's kind of a little bit of a protection to ensure that you're going to work past 2 weeks, because you could just be one of those people. I've seen people do this, as far as like I've seen people do this, young people do this, where they're like, they'll just work at a company for 2 weeks just to get some shoes or something like that, and then they're done. You know what I mean? So it's giving the company a little bit of protection that, like, okay, they're not just gonna work and leave and not, you know, again, this does happen with paychecks. I've seen that where they kind of hold the 2 weeks in the hole a little bit. So yeah, we know that this is a friction point. We can confirm this. And let me know if you guys have ever experienced that as well. Like you know that this is a friction point when people get their initial checks, right?
Exactly.
100%. I had to sign up for an account a little bit earlier because I needed to test something with a client that I have, and I gave up. I was KYCing and I gave up. So I'm going to go back to that another time.
Well, that's too, and then also too, like if you're a young person, like a lot of companies won't employ you unless you have like a bank account. And I remember this from years ago. Like my friend, he was trying to, he's trying to get a job. We were just youngsters, but this was like our first job, right? His father went in there was like, what do you mean he can't be employed until he has a bank account? He's 16. Like how like he can't you know what I mean? Like they eventually like the bank gave him a bank account because his dad was there. His dad was a well-to-do person, but like the bank eventually gave him a bank account so he could have a job. But like it was like yeah, like you sometimes you can they won't even employ you if you don't have a bank account. So this is the friction point. Simon's not that's a true statement.
That's
Um,
not only you. That happens very often.
and that's one, and also for the record, that's one of the biggest central exchanges in the world, and it was just such a headache. So yeah, this is all really, really fascinating stuff. Simon, I got one more for you then before I turn it back to the guys. I know that you and I were speaking earlier in the week, and that Zebec is actively pursuing SOC 2 compliance. Maybe you can just extrapolate what I mean. I'm British. It's also lovely to have Nick on, by the way, talking about how something's blinking ancient. It's great to have another Brit on with me. But yeah, it's I guess talk us through SOC 2 and what that means and why it matters, and maybe some of the other things that you're looking at along those lines.
Absolutely. So yes, as you said, Zebec is currently pursuing SOC 2 compliance. We are in process with that. And this really comes down to data protection and data security, which I alluded to earlier with the GateKnox acquisition. It's incredibly important in the US, and it's a requirement for many partners and enterprise clients to have this certification. And what it does is it sets up Zebec network to work with much larger institutions, including governments, universities, and financial institutions. So it expands our reach, expands the number of clients and type of clients that we can serve. And it's also part of our broader ISO roadmap.
That's great. They're trying to work with universities right now with Science Card. So if they can get the SOC 2 compliance and they can work with even larger universities, even larger clients, then that means they can offer these Zebec cards in a real way to like huge universities, probably, right? It's a nice little testing ground with Britain and the UK, where they have like just 3 million, I think it's 3 million, 3 million students a year. But then now you come to America and you have like just tons and tons and tons of students, you know, in colleges, and you got community colleges, you got universities, you got like trade schools, you got so much stuff. But um, you know, this will open the door for them to get their way into a lot of big companies. So that's even better. That's huge.
Network to work with much larger institutions, including governments, universities, and financial institutions. So it
Oh, and then governments as well. Like imagine them like doing like how the city of like Detroit, let's say, they're city workers. Maybe the city workers have their own even credit union or whatever. Maybe you can offer them a Zebec card for city workers, or you can offer like, yeah. So you can offer a Zebec card for city workers, or for firemen, or for policemen, or you know what I mean. Like, it opens the door for a lot of stuff. To be honest with you, in that way, if that's the case, if you can work with governments now, maybe you have a Zebec card, you know, a Zebec card for NYPD officers. Like that'd be amazing. Like people love the NYPD, right? And, there's love and hate for police officers. Well, what can you do? But but let's just say that they had a NYPD card, right? I think that would be cool. Like I think a lot of people would like that. If they had like a fireman card, like a NYFD or something, NY Fire Department card. Huge, right? You know, I am sure they have like specific, like they might have a correct credit union that works with the firemen, you know, and they get together with them, or they get together with XPR, and they offer that because, like you said, that they could white label to anyone now, to any other crypto firm, so they could white label to XPR at that point, or they could white label to whomever, right? So really, really huge deal. This is this is turning out to be a really big spaces when like most people think of compliance as, you know, boring, right? But there's a lot of juicy information coming out of this, at least to me. I would love to hear your opinion as well.
Expands our reach, expands the number of clients and type of clients that we can serve. And it's also part of our broader ISO roadmap, being kind of one of the earlier steps in getting to ISO certification.
Thank you. Wojtek, Nick, in that order, how important is SOC 2 then when it comes to scaling enterprise grade systems and clients and all of those things?
I think Simon already said it's incredibly important, especially that many of those enterprise clients, especially in US, are not gonna sign or not gonna go through the process until you do have SOC 2 um, uh, certification. So this is sort of prerequisites in many cases. They don't even want to speak to you if you don't have it. And in the cases where it's not such a strict requirement, um, you know, that sort of proves that you do care about internal processes, your internal policies, that you have your house in order, and that the risk is minimized. So that's sort of coming back again to build trust that the organization is serious about running business in a proper way.
Yeah, as you say, it's a binary choice. You either do it or you don't, and that's the same as the first part of this conversation when we're talking about compliance. Starting it at the beginning, you're building the proper foundations for governance through the entirety of your business. And without those foundations, or build it on sand, and you're going to have a problem at a later date. The big issue, of course, for any startup is the cost. And startups are flying as quickly as they can to get money in, revenue in, appease their VCs on certain projections. But without those foundations, which don't have to be gold plated at the very beginning, you build from them, and you have that ethic within your firm, great. And ultimately, it comes down to that risk reward scenario. The risks include obviously regulatory sanctions for not having or having a data breach or a compliance breach for that matter, versus the rewards of actually growing your business much more easily as the CEO. Because
Well, the biggest thing I've heard out of this so far is that he was saying some companies, some huge companies won't even talk to you unless you have the SOC 2. Um, according to this gentleman here, I could imagine that, right? So you know, definitely Zebec wants to should have that so that they can speak to the biggest companies possible. So good for them for going to get it.
because the structure is already there, you can build on it. The technology is built to be compliant, hasn't been forgotten about, and it brings everybody on board. And then I come back to Wojciech's point. You're then acceptable to the TradFi space, which may well hold the keys to you getting your fiat out somewhere along the line.
Yeah, of course.
Another-
Sorry, go Wojtek.
Another thing about any sort of framework like ISO 27001 or SOC 2 is that it really brings your house in order, because you need to go through the
ISO 2701. I, you know, don't quote me on this, but I've heard some people say that ISO 2701 is more important than ISO 20022. To be honest with you, so honestly, we could see how important this would be for a company like Zebec, and since they're going into payroll, you know, they're going to need to be most compliant. And I feel like I also saw somewhere where someone said something like okay, they need to be, ISO 2701 compliant. So like they wouldn't even talk about Zebec unless they were that compliant. This also shows that they pay attention to what the community is saying, right? Of course, that might have been the plan from the beginning to be ISO, and I might be butchering it, 27001 compliant from the beginning. That might have been the plan, but again, they're addressing it right now. So,
Oh, go for it.
Another another thing about any sort of framework like ISO 27001 or SOC 2 is that it really brings your house in order, because you need to go through those processes and organize them in a proper way. So very often you may discover that the things that you believed were uh, in order can be actually greatly improved. So I think it also brings the benefit for the company itself, not only from a perspective of appearing to the market and to uh, enterprise clients, but also internally.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I
Sorry,
think it's
Nick.
I think it's quite interesting as well that it calls SOC 2 calls for an independent auditor to have a look at what you're doing, and I compare that then to the UK and Europe, where you don't need an independent auditor to qualify yourself as suitably robust. I wonder what will be coming towards Europe and the UK in the future, whether that external audit will be required. I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, you can see.
but see again, if they get this ISO 2701, again, that puts them head and shoulders above the rest. Again, in certain ways, compliance, of course, is all about security and trust, but it's also kind of I hate to say this, but this works in Zebec's advantage. Um, it's also a gatekeep in a way, right? So you're not even going to be able to talk to huge companies unless you have 2701, right? And I'm sure the amount of hoops and hurdles you have to jump through to be compliant for 2701, you're really going to have a lot of capital. And, again, so this makes it extraordinarily difficult, which is good for us, for Zebec to have a competitor. It makes it extraordinarily difficult for them to have a competitor, because now you got to do not only be ISO 20022 compliant, you also have to be 2701 compliant, and you would also need to have, I'm calling it DID. They're saying it's KYC plus, but I'm going to just call it DID for the ease of our conversation. You would also have to have DID embedded within your payroll stack. So this really triple threat puts them above any competitor that could possibly touch them.
See it. Given where we've come from and where we're intending to move, you think that kind of compliance is just.
Oh, and did we mention that they're partnered with ADP? Did we mention that they're partnered with ADP? So again, that's another thing that would put them head and shoulders above any payroll competitor. Let's move on.
Going to be necessary, isn't it, to wash through some of the nonsense?
And dare I say it, it's probably a demand of a regulator. We know that regulators in a number of jurisdictions are very, very fearful of Web3, crypto, loss of control over our financial services sector by this. I could imagine that's probably one of the things that the Europeans are going to leap on and say, yeah, we like that bit. Everyone needs to be audited for SOC 3 or ISO or GDPR and all of that sort of stuff. Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay, guys, look, we've spent a lot of time talking about what's happening right now. And having spoken to you both now previously, I'm really interested and excited by the next question, because it means we get to look forward a little bit and we get to look into the future via your knowledge and experience. So I'm going to put it to Wojtek first, and then come back to you, Nick, in a moment. I'm really curious, what, in your opinion, does the future, and I'll let you define the future. You can either be next few years, or you can really go out there and be fully dystopian. But what does the future of compliance look like in Web3 and finance more broadly? Is it real time? Is it invisible? Like, what are the big changes and adaptations that we're going to see in that sector?
Yeah, I think you know, I've already said that the current processes are broken and they're not adequate for the digital economy, and they need to evolve, they need to change, and this change needs to happen very quickly, because if you think even about KYC process and you know, going through um, taking picture and you know, having this verified with the rise of AI, now you can very easily really go around those processes. So you know, right now it looks like the technology is being used or can be used much quicker for performing criminal activities than what's happening with its use to really verify the individuals. But not only that, as you said, the compliance needs to become embedded into the backbone of the Web3 industry to grow and to become publicly accepted, fully publicly accepted. And in order for that, you do need to have user experience that it's acceptable, and it's not currently. The cost obviously needs to go down, and we do have technology that is capable of helping with those processes, but we also do have regulations that don't allow this technology to be used at the current stage to its full advantage. So, you know,
Okay, and they're just saying that they'll basically apply AI to the technology here, which, you know, exactly how that pans out, you know, we'll see. But of course, rational databases and all of that, you know, they've been around. You could use the term AI, but you can also just say, you know, we're going to put it in a database, and we're going to make that database learn and be efficient, and it's going to get better over time. You can use the word AI, of course, um, but again, yeah, that of course that's great.
going much farther, I, I really don't see how the current stage can progress much farther. It does need to be embedded into the whole system in sort of similar way as we have it embedded in the payment systems. We all forgotten about the fact that you know, you had to write checks. Now you just click your phone and you pay for things. And this is the experience that you do want to have with the compliance. You don't want to remember about this. You don't want to spend too much time on it. You just want this to happen. So I am a big believer in zero knowledge proofs or similar technology that will allow you to have your um, identity and all information stored in a secure way, in a way that you control, and only provide information that you deem really required.
Okay, yeah. So he's saying using zero knowledge proofs to have your identity. Like, it really sounds like digital identity to me, but they're not using that term. Um, yeah. So you'll have that all on your phone, just like you can use your card now on your phone, like your iPhone or whatever. Um, you'll have that on your phone, and you'll be able to, you know, tap your digital identity just like you do your bank card, or soon to be Zebec card. But in your Zebec card will be also your digital identity. So again, yeah, I can really see how, if your digital identity isn't wrapped into your bank card, like, this is really gonna put Zebec a head and shoulders above any other card having your digital identity wrapped into your bank card, into your instant card.
Identity and all information stored in a secure way, in a way that you control, and only provide information that you deem really required.
From my point of view, where do I see it? I'm actually quite excited about the future. But let me just put a little bit into context there. When we use the term compliance functions which consume far too many people in major industries. They're either reactive, proactive, and there's process-driven. And we can't forget the process-driven, which you, Vortex, just spoke about as well. We can actually use the words, the transaction monitoring, which get tied into the KYC and AML. And KYC AML goes into that process part, if you like. And that's the bit that we're really focusing on here today. So I won't bother with the other parts of the compliance function. But where do I see it going? I see... I'm not sure if I should say it this way. I see a major reduction in people, which is a good thing. And that means greater efficiency and greater data being put in front of the board of directors or the people who are taking the risk.
I'm not sure he should have said it that way either. He said a greater reduction in people. I would not have said that way. I would not have said that way. I think he's saying more of a reduction in workers because workers are not going to be needed to check those boxes of is this person is this person, they're not going to need KYC workers because there's all these workers that just work compliance to say, okay, well, yeah, that's the right social security number, that's the right person. Imagine if you just had some common name like Adam Smith or something like that. Now you got to make sure, is this the right Adam Smith? If you don't have a middle name, there could be 2,000 Adam Smiths. Now you got to look at the Soch, the city, you got to do all of this stuff, and this would now eliminate all of those guys, and now put it into digital identity, which can be done with blockchain and AI. And this would now reduce that would wipe out a whole swath of workers. Is what it is. But yeah, that's going to wipe out a ton of different workers because there are a whole bunch of workers that do nothing but make sure that that's right. So yeah, that's gonna get rid of a ton of workers.
Risks for those businesses rather than the rubbish that comes up to senior management at the current time. But if we have a look at that, it's going to remove the pain points that you just spoken about, Vortex. The ability to embed that into the transaction monitoring so you can see a whole holistic view of what is going on with your client. And I include in that the business, corporate clients as well. And that's the information that you really want. And what is the point? Why are we actually doing KYC AML checks? And essentially,
so that's going to make it really easy to do business. It's going to make it really cheaper to do business, and yeah, it's going to make it really faster and cheaper to do business. Again, like Simon said, if DID isn't embedded in your payroll or in your instant card or in whatever you're doing, you're going to be at a serious disadvantage. So now I see why people that were really high on DID, like years ago, Art Block was talking about DID. Now I understand why it's so important. If they're going to embed DID into like a payroll stack, not only you're going to have it in order to do business. You're going to have it. If you don't have it, you can't do business. Like, pretty much. Of course, there's like, okay, if I'm coming up to you and I'm selling you a service and we're trading, we're doing a quick like skills trade, that's fine. Like, people do that all day. But if we're talking about like corporate business, you're going to have it.
Is just to keep the bad money out of the system. So that's what we're really looking for in these particular things. So I also think that a lot of what the future will look like will depend upon the regulator attitude, which is way behind the thinking that probably everybody on this call has, that we want to go faster, we want to go quicker, and this makes sense. And there's another little bit in there. I see the ownership of my ID and my ability to use that to transport, to go and use a different financial service provider because I prefer their product, but I'm not actually a client of theirs, should be seamless. We tried that a long time ago when I worked for a major investment bank, not the one you announced, by the way, at the beginning. And they wanted to set up a centralized KYC piece. but all the other banks wouldn't touch it because they were going to nick your clients. This is why the Web3 is so much more efficient in that, is because I shouldn't be able to nick somebody else's clients just because their KYC is on this particular piece. So I can see there will be a reluctance to some firms. I might lose a customer, but then again, you could gain a few more. It's going to make your products a little bit better. But I think the actual answer I was supposed to give you was, I see these systems being greatly improved. We were talking the other day about putting
It's supposed to give, bro. You're going off script, bro. But yeah, I shouldn't have said that either. He shouldn't have said that. But really, I think what he's saying there is like, as much as this can be really cool as far as like digital identity goes, some people are going to be like, okay, I don't want my stuff digitally identity thing. But again, it's like a social security card. If you don't want digital identity, you be the same guy that says, you know, you don't want a social security card, and that's, you know, that's a rabbit hole we're not going to go down this episode. But you know, if you have a social security card, you really shouldn't mind having a digital identity, right?
AI agents in to be able to break down those barriers between all of these process pieces. And I reckon that within 5 years, this will be seamless, and that GateKnox will be seamless in the way it produces this, and hopefully delivers some transaction reporting as well for you at Zebec. That would be really good. And that just takes an awful lot of effort off the senior management, who can then rely on proper management information coming up to them. Risks reduced. That's what we want to do, assuming it's within our risk appetite and all of that sort of stuff. And we can get on and make a bit of money. There we go.
So with what he just said too, it's as much as this opens up as much, like, so much ease, as a, well, this opens up a ton of ease, and this also puts Zebec in the driver's seat as far as it goes with payroll, as far as digital identity, everything. This makes me even more bullish than I was on Zebec just hearing this, right? If I'm looking at this just outside of me as a Zebec investor, just as a human being, this could, if you just like if you mess up your credit score, right? This could, if you really mess up your like kind of digital identity, you might just be screwed. You'd be really screwed, almost like messing up your credit report, right? But again, you know, if you have a lot of money, your credit report doesn't really matter at that point, right? So if you have a lot of crypto, would your digital identity matter? I don't know. These are questions that will have to be answered. But as far as like a Zebec investor, this makes me very, very, very bullish on them in the short and long term here. As the regulations roll out to allow them to really make full advantage or take full advantage of the digital identity piece of what they're using. But again, if they get this SOC ISO 22701 like validation, if they get that, sky's the limit, bro. Sky's the limit.
There you are.
And
That's what we're all here for. Go Wojtek, sorry.
Yep.
5 years, Nick, is extremely long time. Looking at how the technology is developing, how quickly it's developing nowadays, wouldn't you say? I think that change is much more rapid. It's just, as you said, regulators and the traditional finance that is not yet ready for all of this. But
Absolutely.
this wave is coming, and as you said, I do believe a lot of compliance officers are gonna lose their jobs because AI is much more efficient in analyzing the data. And you know, if you look at it, probably, I don't know, you might know it better, but
They're saying AI, and it's cool that they're saying AI, but really this is just like computational math, right? It's going to do that way faster than a person checking. And if you have the digital IDs, you know and you have the compliance for that, yeah, it's going to be way easier for the computer to check all of that stuff than somebody to go like correlate records and say, okay, this is that person, just period. AI or no AI. Just putting that in a digital space and having a computer double check, triple check databases is going to be infinitely faster than a human being doing it. So yeah.
uh, I would say over 90 something percent of people doing any financial transactions in Web3 are legitimate users. And yet, for the small percentage of, illegible users, you go through the such hassle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, guys, this has been a great conversation. I knew it. I knew when we were talking at the beginning that compliance is capable of being insightful, and so I'm really, really grateful for all of your time. Simon, to you too. I've got a final question for you all, and it's actually asking you for a final thought. What's the one thing that you think every founder, investor, or builder should remember and take away when it comes to compliance in Web3? Wojtek, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think we already sort of talked about this, but I'll reiterate it. Compliance, it's not your enemy. Think about compliance as trust, and to build sustainable business, you need to build trust. It scales in the long run much better than hype. I'll leave you with this.
I love that. Build trust.
Yeah, for us as the back investors, this is actually really, really good because this means, to me, this means Zebec is going to have no competitors. No one's going to be able to now get the ISO 20022 compliance, the ISO 2701 compliance, and have DID embedded within their stack. So, and right, be linked with one of the biggest the biggest payroll company, like hands down and above all. Like Zebec's gonna have no competitors, um, which is really great. They're going to be uniquely positioned to take advantage of a very needed thing, which is upgrading payroll. Um, this is like the perfect storm. So they'll have no competitors. They're in a position of need, something that would definitely be needed, and they're going to provide people with something that's going to make their business cheaper, faster, and more efficient. This is the absolute perfect storm. And I can understand now. I speculated that like XRP holders might be picking up ZBCN. Then this might be why XRP holders are picking up ZBCN, because they're the ultimate triple threat in what they're laying out with for us right now. If things are what they say they are, hands down, they're amazing right now. Okay, so let's finish this up.
Completely. Nick, how about you?
Well, I think if you really want to build a proper business that's going to have longevity and be able to make decent money out of it then act like a real institution and implement the foundations from the beginning. That doesn't mean you have to over engineer them, but think about them in all of your strategy as to where you're going forward. Compliance plays a big part in that. And brackets, that's the proactive piece that I mentioned earlier, to be able to advise the board on how it could be built to protect us all.
Yeah, I love that. And Simon, obviously you're going through this at the moment, right? You're not just at the forefront of working with these guys to build compliance, but you're actually having to be compliant. And so I'm curious, like, what's your takeaway?
Well, I think we can all agree that compliance is no longer an option in the Web3 space. The Web3 space.
June. Thank you for that. Hop-Tard is 27001. I thought I'm like 2701. That sounded wrong. Because they're, I don't know. Yeah. But thank you for that. Now we have the right one. Let's continue here.
You're actually having to be compliant. And so I'm curious, like, what's your takeaway?
Well, I think we can all agree that compliance is no longer an option in the Web3 space. The Web3 space is no longer the Wild West that it may have been in its early years. You're seeing governments now putting out bills. You're seeing financial institutions come into the mix. And for that reason, we need to operate more like TradFi with full compliance systems, compliance teams, and not really just view this as a cost. It has to be a core part of.
I see a question from Julian here. Why wouldn't XRP want to be involved in this if they're not already? Well, again, I think that there is a partnership between Ripple and XRP and Zebec. They've already said that it's so. We already know that from the information they gave us with White Rock that they work on an XRP ledger. They just haven't announced it yet. And Ripple cannot be in everything. All right. And then there's also the point of that real-time streaming payment patent might be Sam Thapalia's. Okay. So it's his patent. So it's his IP, right? So you know what I mean? So it seems to me like, they can't be involved in everything, right? Like for instance, with XPR, it seems like XPR is going to deal with the credit unions. Ripple credit unions probably are not enough money for Ripple, right? Ripple's probably going to deal with the huge banks and governments. And then for Zebec, their portion would be payroll. But again, they're going to be linked into the XRP ledger. So Ripple's not involved. They're just not running it. You know what I mean? So let's continue.
Of all the infrastructure that we build.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, Simon, we're gonna.
And we need to operate more like TradFi with full compliance systems, compliance teams, and not really just view this as a cost. It has to be a core part of all the infrastructure that we build.
Well, they're operating with all the, again, as much as compliance is a trust in whatchamacallit things, it is also kind of a gatekeep. They are operating with the BlackRocks, the ADPs, the people who kind of would want to gatekeep some. You know what I mean? I'm using gatekeep. It's not in a negative connotation. In this case, it's actually positive because no one else is going to be able to compete with Zebec in that space, right? So in this case, gatekeep is actually positive. But yes, no, they're working with the people like a BlackRock, like a ADP, like Circle, who are the best and the best, the top of the top in their perfective, in their specialized fields, in their genres. They are the best of the best. So it makes sense that they would want to have a compliance structure or a gatekeep structure to keep themselves the best of the best, if that makes sense. So um that just is very, very great for us as investors.
Hopefully,
Absolutely.
Simon, we're gonna add to this, still Web3 approach from a perspective of building it in a way that it's cost effective and quick and don't follow traditional finance where they went wrong.
Exactly. Right. We can learn a lot from the big banks and how their compliance system runs, and build it a much quicker and more efficient way in Web3.
I love that. When I met Wojtek a few weeks ago, it was UX, 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 right? That's what we do. We build a streamlined process that nobody can fail to understand and complete. And by doing so, when you create a product that good, then you've knocked down all of those barriers. Absolutely love it.
And people are gonna come.
Yes, when you build it, that typically happens. Yeah, it's it's well said. Okay, look, huge thanks to Simon and the team from Zebec for hosting this and allowing me to co-host and moderate conversation. Wojtek, Nick, absolutely fantastic to meet with you again and to get a bit more insight in your expertise. Really, really appreciate that, particularly around subjects like this that just don't get enough attention, and they are
great pleasure.
absolutely essential.
Thank you for having me.
Amen.
Great pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. Compliance, not the enemy of Web3. Done right, it's what unlocks potential. Discuss.
Yep. And it always been said like compliance would be the enemy of crypto. But in actuality, it seems as though it's going to be the friend of crypto. Funny how things work out like that sometimes, right? Um, yeah, it's going to be a friend of crypto. And what it's going to really set up to me is the ability to have kind of like stock market 2.0 in that um, these 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 assets are going to be able to have people like stake these and have passive income for the rest of their lives. You can already see they're kind of setting that up with Flare and XRP. You know, perhaps Zebec becomes the same. But let's continue and hear the rest.
I hope you want to come back and drop us come into the Telegram group, come into our DMs, leave comments, etc. Would love to know what you think of this conversation. It's been a really, really interesting one today. Obviously, give Zebec and everyone here a follow for more updates. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. I think we've got another one going live next week. In fact, we're going live on a weekly cadence now.
I'm not sure, Simon, do you hear Ben anymore or not?
Oh, no.
Ben is on, yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll close it out. Everybody, thank you so much for showing up. And we'll catch you guys on the next.
Love it.
Ben,
Good job. That was at the end.
Bro. You cut off.
I'm back now. We're all good.
Dude.
But do you know what? It was perfect
good.
timing. Yeah. Everyone,
right,
come
bye.
back. Join us for the next episode. We'll see you soon.
All right, guys. See y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, hands down, this makes me the most bullish on Zebec, period. And by the way, definitely, Julian, no, I'm sure other people have that question. Well, why wouldn't XRP just do this? Like, they can't do everything. They have their piece, and it's a centralized piece, right? Just like Quant has its job, Stellar's gonna have its job. Everybody has their job and their part to play, right? Stronghold, right? There's so much stuff to do. Everybody's gonna have their little piece of it, right? This hands, this really makes me bullish about Zebec, right? Just the digital identity piece alone is something, right? And that they can white label it out to other cryptocurrencies. But now imagining that they're putting it into payroll. Now imagine, right, how I just described to you, right, my friend back in the day, where like he couldn't get a job because he didn't have a bank account, right? And this was a friction point. This is the friction point. Now imagine, right, Zebec giving like Zebec cards to university students, right? And them developing their digital identity right then and there, right? And that digital identity now can go wherever with them. And since they're college students, they'll probably be willing and wanting to go into the metaverse because kids right now are already like on TikTok more than they are doing anything else anyway. So just the digital identity piece alone is great. But now attach that to payroll, and now attach that to an instant card, and now attach that to retirement funds. There is so much to like about all of that. There's so much to like about all of that. Especially, with kids always being kind of a sticky user in that they're going to use their instant card and they're going to be incentivized to use their instant card because they're going to get paid immediately in real time. Um, and the studious smart kids will be able to set up their retirement in real time with that, right? So you're getting the irresponsible ones that are going to spend and probably make loans and do DeFi stuff, but you're also getting the money from the ones that are going to be responsible and do the 401k as well. And you possibly get the gamers who are going to be in the metaverse. Like they're all avenues are covered, every one of them, and every one of them, Zebec can have a hand in with the Zebec card and the DID. Like masterful touch, here. And then also like I like that they listen to the community, right? They may have not listened as far as like with this this airdrop, but then if I look at it in the from this view of Zebec right now, right? Had they done the airdrop that we all wanted, they might have pushed the price of Zebec to a point where they wouldn't have been comfortable with being able to grab coins for themselves, if that makes sense, as an institution. So it's not what we wanted, but for the long-term growth of the coin, it was probably the best thing to do, to be honest with you. I know we're not gonna like that, but for the long-term growth of the coin, that was probably the best thing for them to do as far as the airdrop is concerned. And people aren't gonna like to hear that, but for real, probably for the long-term growth of the coin, that was the best thing to do. They already had examples of how that kind of could play out with coins like Flare, where they've done like those type of airdrops and things like that. And really, what it's done is kind of kept Flare's price down a little bit, So honestly, the way the airdrop turned out might have been what's best for the coin, to be honest. If that was the airdrop, because they kind of in the language that they used, they could still have some type of airdrop in the future. But yeah, as far as like how this digital identity opens up and what this ISO 27001, what this opens them up to, this really kind of outlines the bigger plan for Zebec, and it really is what we thought it was, right? Payroll, retirement, plus digital identity. So again, if this thing goes really well with how they're trying to, like, this will open them up, right, to really kind of make use of what they're doing with the science card, and to really kind of give the card to the students and have them be like a real life test bed of how this could work in America with tons more students. But they're doing it on a smaller scale with the Brits, right? This is amazing, guys. This is amazing. I really love what we heard today. And that digital identity piece is really huge for me personally. For me personally. Um, yeah, people who missed this who missed this one, they're gonna be missing out. They're really gonna be missing out. So let's start from the top here with our comments. What's up, Tony S? Zebec will change the world 100%. What's up, Big Mo 36? What's up, Charlie J? What's up, High Word? Hey Lee, how you doing? Let's have it, Ruel. What's up, girl? How you doing? Um, what's up, Lance Walton? Z about to blow Golden because Russ confirmed on the hour fib. Okay, not sure who Russ is or Ross. What's up, Lance? What's up, Marie Villas? Long time watcher and listener here. Appreciate you. Hello, Ruzy, back to the moon. Let's go. Phantom Beats. Let's go. Zebec. uh, what's up, Paul Andrew? Say who? I'm here, bro. What's up, Pharmacopoeia? You know I had to jump over here and see what's up, Ru. I had to stop another lecture I was listening to, but you know I wasn't going to miss you, brother. Oh, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Salute, salute. Okay, everybody confirmed the sound. Thank you guys for that. What's up, DE.R? Let's go. What's up, XRP Rude Boy in the house? What's up, Brock Tripp? Zebec to $1, let it be 100%. Cannabis Coracle. Missed this because I was busy this morning. This is even better. I was just getting ready to listen to it, but was excited to see that you're doing the commentary. Honestly, I was just getting ready to listen to it too, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just do it live. Why not? What's up, Stephanie Crypto? What's up, Milk Money? What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Let's go, Zebec. Mark Only, Zebec is the biggest utility monster, 100%. What's up, Hitter All Day? Another Zebec banger in the house. Nothing compares to Zebec. They are the biggest backers out there, 100%. Mark Only, this easily will go to 94 cents by October. I mean, it's literally looking like that, right? It's really looking like that. Stronghold and Zebec, I'm so high on them right now. Like, it's crazy. Bam, what's up, E? Mr. Crypto Boom Bostick, what's up? Bags packed. Carol B989, what is up? Hi, Rue and crew. E, Rue, hey fam, what's good? Just packing and stacking what we can afford. ZBCN to me is the #1 project this cycle. Don't get me started on gateways, just like the Windows computer system. 100%. Everything's gateways if you look at it. Of course, we know the god Janus is the god of gateways and doors. We could go so deep on that, bro. We could go so deep on that. XRP, ZBCN, Maple Finance, and Well for Craig Patillo. Johnny B, Zebec to $1, let it be. Let's go. Creative Control, just reposted the stream. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. The Ether cable, what's a huge gateway for the internet, but either other purely speculation, but that's how we entered the next dimension. Ooh. J Share 2.0. Rue, what up, though? Let the sleepers sleep. Another Detroit guy in the house. Because if y'all don't know it, I'm from Detroit. Motown, D-Town up in here. What's up, Charlie J? XLM. That was a huge statement. Peace, peace. What's up, Kid Grabo? MacGyver Gold Mining Projects Africa. MacGyver, the detonator, reposted the stream. Okay, you changed the name there a little bit. Thank you. Appreciate it. B Fields, if I only have $500 to invest, would Zebec be enough to make me wealthy in 10 years? You know, that's up to you, B Fields. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm very high on it. That's up to you to make that choice if that's where you want to put your money though. What's up, Crypto Future? Definitely check out my guy Crypto Future. Let me go over to my channel, show you guys Crypto Future's channel. So if you guys go to my YouTube, of course, definitely follow me on X if you haven't already, where I have tons of mind maps. Like, we'll get to it here, I guess. If you look in the media section, you'll find mind maps like this that we have on Zebec here. You know, connections to Ondo, Securitized, BlackRock, SBI Group, ADP, Stellar, of course. Not pictured here, Circle, but of course Circle, right? Um, you know, Bain Capital, Crypto, Coinbase, all that. So definitely want to check out my X if you haven't already. We're looking to get monetized over there. So definitely like and subscribe on X if you haven't already. And we are monetized on YouTube. We're making a push towards 10K subscribers. We're at like 6,100 and something now, I believe. So definitely let's get to 7,000. I see my metrics. I see that over 10 or 11K of you return to view the channel. So over half, like a little under half of you are not subscribed. So let's just make it today. Subscribe today. Because of course, with your subscriptions and your watches, that makes it easier for me to do more content. But let's go over to the YouTube channel here. And it's loading slowly. Oh, I guess we're at 6,300 and something subscribers. I was wrong. But still, continue to subscribe, people. I'm really enjoying the growth. I have to say we've more than tripled our subscribers in the last like 3 months. So you know, I see you guys out here, and I appreciate it. But let's continue here. Let's continue on, right? Let's continue to grow. You can see here, Underdog Research Channel, Shook Focus Digital, Maximus Crypto, the Mooneyverse. Gotta check on Mooney. I haven't seen her around here in a bit. Gentleman of Crypto, NYC Odd App over here, Simon Family Investment, Benzinga Crypto, Benzinga regular and Benzinga Crypto, One-on-One Media, Crypto Future, and the Ronin Experience. Definitely check out Crypto Future, guys, if you haven't already. And you can go down to my feature channels and check them out. I've done a couple different collaborations with Rob here. Probably time to do another one. I'm loving these thumbnails he has here. Loving the specs there too. Rob, you might have to tell me where you got those boys from, boy. Out here, guy. Those are some nice glasses right there, my friend. Yeah, so yeah, definitely yeah, follow, like, and subscribe, guys, and give Crypto Future a like and subscribe if you haven't already out here. Yeah, so definitely. And let's bring up, while we're here, might as well bring up Zebec Network. Man, I didn't know what to expect from this compliance talk, but it turned out to be really good. Nick Lovett, Crypto Future Patreon in the house. Appreciate you, Nick Lovett. Nice to see. There's a lot of like synergy between the Crypto Future crowd, the Maximus Crypto crowd, and my crowd. It's nice to see that you guys transfer over to everybody's channels. It's really cool to see that the communities are uniting like this, man. It's a beautiful thing. What's up, Six Titans? Pharmacopoeia, the Circle IPO looks like it's trying to catch a bid around 360. Yeah, it just keeps going up and up and up and up. $500 will get you 120K plus tokens on Uphold right now. GS, hello Ruin team, appreciate you GS. ZBCN, hey, you gotta determine that for yourself. B Fields, BJ in the house. What is going on, Les Square? How come every company wants to be compliant with Apple iPhone? Isn't ISO compliant means iPhone compliant? So does that mean we all have to take the forbidden fruit, right? What's up, Joey in the house? Black Prince of Crypto, the best researcher in the space, period. Appreciate it, brother. What's up, my man? What's up, Dave F? Zesty Zebec, Kronk City. Zesty means something else too, bro. I don't know if we want to say that. Josie Robinson, who has 50K XRP. Well, that was 50K in monetary value, so it ended up being like 22K XRP in actual coins. Wells do Lord Zero cool. People have 22K XRP. People do have that much out there, bro. People do. Long-time stackers do as well. Yeah. How many have 100K ZBCN? Same situation. Get in early enough and you can stack up. I'm sure phones in the future will be secretly palm reading to predict most possible outcomes, or maybe they're doing that already for the CIA. Honestly, I think I think these phones are kind of doing stuff like that already. Prognostication. Prognostication. I think they're already doing it. They kind of have to, right, to create the algorithm to give you things that they think that you would watch. I got into Zebec exactly a month before I had the recent run up, and my 25K turned into 15K. Let's go, skills to the max. And did you hear what he said about the technology in our hands is ancient? There is a double entendre kind of meaning to that. I did not pick that up, but nice stuff. Let me start that one. It's not. Yep. Open mind. Yep. That's how it is. Exactly. Long time. Stacks and Wells. Ancient mana. Ooh, nice. If ZBCN hits $1, how many will have 50K worth of ZBCN? That's a good point, Lord Zero Cool. My XRP bag is only 5,500 tokens, but still accumulating. It's $40 for 10K and ZBCN right now. Got you. WEF digital control system to keep us as serfs in our 15-minute cities. Well, Florence, you know what I mean? I just think about that sometimes, like, right? But again, right, like with everything, I think there are certain rules, like higher power rules that the WEF has to abide by, right? Because otherwise, wouldn't they just like buy it all up and like just keep it from us, right? But they still have to abide by certain rules, certain higher power rules. So everybody has an equal opportunity to buy XRP or ZBCN if they want to. And in a certain sense, most people would want to live in a 15-minute city, because if you can't, like, it's a luxury to be able to be like 4 minutes away from your job. It's a luxury to be able to live in the city and be very close to your job. Most people, they're probably driving 30 minutes away, or you know what I mean? It is a luxury really to be like in a 15-minute type of situation. So I mean, I know that there's a lot of stuff around that, right? But still, I think they have to abide by certain rules, certain higher power rules, in which everybody had an opportunity to buy Bitcoin, even though they said, okay, it's a scam. Even though they said, nobody, even though Larry Fink said no one wants cryptocurrency, it's still up to us to look into it and say, well, is that the truth? Is it really that no one wants cryptocurrency? You see what I'm saying? So, in one sense, I get that people think, okay, well, WEF bad, but in the same sense, it's still us being humans and us having free will to look into things, to seek knowledge, and to make sure that what we're being told is true. So it's a catch-22. It's a hard thing to kind of rationalize, but in a sense, 15-minute cities are like a luxury in a certain sense, because the people, like, again, like, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't travel. You are stuck to only 15 minutes outside of your city. Like, so the goal is really to hold on to and to get the assets that will give you the ability to travel and things like that. So, after Zebec hits $1, we'll be able to unplug from the matrix 100%. And that's kind of what I mean there. So it's a catch-22 type of thing there. They will have to have a way to tax you unless you use BSV. I'm hoping some of these coins will allow me out of the matrix as well. And I'm not picking on you, Florence. I'm just trying to say, for people to, like, you gotta use discernment and you gotta seek knowledge on these things. ICP and BSV and Zebec will dominate. What's up, Sun Moon 4774? What's up, Mask XRP? XRP and XLM are not stable coins. Stablecoin is backed 1-to-1. That's what makes them a stablecoin. I understand that, but there was a document. So unless you know this specific document I'm talking about, there was a document that referred to XRP and XLM as stablecoins. I understand that that a stablecoin is backed 1-to-1 to buy something. I get that, but there was a document by the World Bank that referred to these coins as stablecoins. And the reason I think they refer to them as that is because you can transact with them so quickly that within the 5 seconds or 4 seconds or 6 seconds you use to transfer it, it's pretty much still the same value as when you got it to the other end. It's pretty much still the same value. So I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if it's like if it's a stable coin by law, but in that World Bank document, it referred to them as stable coins. So I'm not sure if it's if it's by, I'm not sure if it's by law. But see, Delta Ghost knows what I'm talking about. So you just have to go look and find that World Bank document. Stablecoins will be settled. B feels so companies would no longer be able to float. Okay, yeah, we answered that. Are we going to $1? Hey, Nate Paul Lemon. Hey man, I think it's possible. It's possible. Not financial advice. Stellar, Zebec, and Self Key. Sun Moon 4774. Within 3 years, it'll be $1. XMR will also dominate. Pirate Chain is better than XMR. Yeah, Monero is it's in the Draper family of coins now. And I can show you that. Let's go here. Where are we at here? So let's go to Boost VC. Boost VC. And this power button, I know we think this is some type of symbol and it means something, but besides power, I can't, if anybody knows, because I know you guys are knowledgeable on this stuff too, what the power button symbol means, let me know, because I see it a lot lately. So yeah, so Boost VC is run by our partners, Adam Draper and others. So that's Tim Draper's son. If you look at their portfolio, in their crypto portfolio, sorry about that, guys. In their crypto portfolio is Monero. So they used to list that. I hope they still list it here. So there it is right there. So Monero is not as private as it used to be. So got Polkadot and Polychain Capital, Ripio, and others. Scale. Zcash. So again, not as private as it used to be. Whoops. Oh. It didn't go over there. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is Adam Draper's company. I thought I was showing that to you. But let me go. Okay, so if we go down here, you'll see Monero right there, not as private as it used to be. Polkadot, Polychain Capital, Protocol Labs, Rehive, Ripio, Zcash. And then if we go back, show you. So yeah, Adam Draper. This is Tim Draper's son. So Filecoin too here. It's crazy how many coins Draper has his fingers in. It's crazy. You can do that with ICP and Cosmos already. What's up, Bullish Choices? Yo, 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 yo. Z to the U. XDB Sleeper. Just scooped up 12K more ZBCN. What's up, Red Star 7311? B feels the companies are making 2 weeks interest, float, and employees money now is what I'm saying. Yeah, and you know, they'll probably save more money using ZBCN and not having to do the whole compliance thing. So really, again, too, with the whole digital identity thing kind of wrapped into their company, I think they'll probably end up saving more money than the whole, oh, well, you know, I think they're gonna make more money having the more efficient system than they are with the whole 2 weeks of float of interest. Put it that way. It's just speculation on my part, but you know, we'll see. ISO 20022 coins will rocket when the transition occurs, but you got to know when to flip the true freedom coins. Timing will be the key. Employers are now floating employees. Yep. I'm not talking about it in advance. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so yeah, I think the amount of money that they're gonna save by using the Zebec system is probably going to be it's probably going to make them use the system more than, because I know when they were doing when Zebec first IPO'd, that's what the woman was saying. She was like, "Well, why are employers going to use it? Because they're making they're making interest floating the employees' money." But I get what she didn't get is, okay, well, this is not just going to be instant payroll. It's also going to be digital identity. It's also going to be retirement funds. It's also going to be like instant cards. So it's that whole system. So that's what she didn't get. But Simon did look at her like, what is your problem? Oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, so I think companies are really they're gonna get way more benefits than the just having the floating of 2 weeks of interest. Any updates on Uphold airdrop? I think I think the airdrop, the quote unquote reward that just happened was the airdrop. But we shall see. Yes, I'm ZBCN. I'm married to the bag. What's up, Ocean View Coffee Shop? Phantom Beat Tailcoin just went through the sock test. Awesome. When are they taking over payroll? That's when the big money comes in and the token value rockets. Government workers, 100%. Mark Thompson, things need to flourish for XRP before ZBCN or any other utility coins can flourish as well, 100%. Well, I think they're going to put all of that in at the same time. What we're seeing from Stronghold right now, where they already transferred the coins over for their escrow, they have those transferred over right now. And they said they were going to do it before 7/14, which is the date that ISO goes live over here, the Fed Now ISO. So I'm pretty positive. It really looks like that 7/14 date is going to be stuck to. And I think that 7/14 date is another, like, it's an actual, like, some type of celestial date. Like, there's something that actually happens like on 7/14. Somebody who knows that in the chat, let me know what date is 7/14. It's an actual date of something. So I'm really thinking that this is going to go down on 7/14 and it's not going to get delayed again. But of course, we're going to know that almost for certain on 6/27, because they said that that's going to be the kind of drop dead date to say a yes or no on whether the 7/14 date is going to happen for real. Wishing Ruel and everyone peace, patience, and positivity and prosperity. I'm really excited about what's ahead of us, 100%. Two Moons, thanks, Scotty. Love, wish the same for you and everyone here as well. What's up, Dina? Two Moons. These are also very exciting times ahead for us. Thank you. A greater reduction in people, which is a good thing. Yo, yeah, he messed that up badly. He should have said a reduction in workers, not people. That was, yeah. This is absolutely huge. That's what she said. Oh man. Okay, and we got that one. This will change things in the financial industry completely. Let's go ISO. Let's go Zebec. Let's go XRP. Yes, sir. I really think this is gonna blow up this year. Yep. No problem, brother. Sure thing, my friend. Really appreciate your digging and all this great info. And we answered that one. Once this happens, there will be no limit. Just my opinion. By the way, how tired Zebec is going to go parabolic. YYR. Oh my gosh, I thought I killed that. Sorry about that. Zebec is number one. What's up, Char Mizzle 21? We're so blessed when this thing hits 100%. F it. I'm buying more tonight. I agree, brother. Yep, no problem. I will buy 500 coins and then buy 500 more. You're doing the Martin Lucas, huh? Let's see here. Wait till Zebec interconnects with Workday and Oracle HR systems. Woo, 100%. And potentially SAP HR, 100%. You think Zebec will get to $2 by 2035? What's your price prediction for XPR this run? XPR, man, XPR is so like there's so much potential there with what it can do for credit unions, and they're a FedNow provider. There's just so much. Like, who knows? They can also, because with their XMD dollar, with their metal dollar, they could create stable coins for credit unions. So think about that. Think about that. Just like they were just saying here, how some banks are saying that they're going to create their own stable coins. Metal can create stable coins for credit unions. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. Like, imagine now, like, because I know I went to Michigan State University. They have their own credit union. Maybe every university has its own credit union. Can you imagine, like, Metal Dollar creating a Michigan State University stablecoin, MSU, MSU stablecoin for the entire university, and you could spend those stable dollars like they were freaking regular dollars around campus and around like neighboring cities like Okemos or Lansing or East Lansing, because like Michigan State is like 93 like or 90% of East Lansing, but there's still a little portion that's not the school, you know. But that makes me really bullish on that. But yeah, for this run, XPR, man, I can't even. Let's just say 33 cents. Let's just say 33 cents. But I would have to even do more research because I don't remember the tokenomics of XPR off the top of my head. But there's so much to like there, especially considering they could make stablecoins for credit unions. Dude's voice sounds like homie from the British show IT Crowd. Zebec is working with Quant. Will be massive when Oracle relationships. Yep. And Max has done a good job at like correlating some of that stuff and bringing it out. Nah, sell your ZBCN like it's a fad, and I'll buy it up for you from you. Yep, 100%, bro. Went from decentralized to centralized. Yep. Excuse me. I'm a HR payroll dude. I see the writing on the wall already. Connecting to Legacy Corp systems via Quant. Hey Rue, what's up, Kifam, brother? What do you think of these will be bigger? And what's in second and third place? Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. HBAR has all those different companies behind it, right? So you gotta think maybe it's in second place, but then XLM, XLM could probably be used for XPay, and XPay just can't, or Twitter or X just came out and said that they're gonna have like a trading platform. Could that be on XLM? Like, so to me, it's in the short term. This is not financial advice. This is just my thoughts. Definitely, make your own choice there. It's somewhere between HBAR and XLM being second, like one or two, and then XDC is only third. Other than we've heard nothing about how trade finance is really going to be used yet. But of course, I think they got to get all this regulation in place first, and then I think we'll start hearing more stuff about trade finance. We'll probably hear more about trade finance once this carbon credits and all of that start hitting. Max in the house. We were just talking about you, brother. Hi, Crew. Smash that like for Rue so he can get a better view of the honeys on the next collab. 100%. What's the final word, Rue? Thanks. The final word. Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely got to get that. We can say it now. Let's say compliance. That would be the word to put into the, not into the chat, but into the comments after the chat. Not done yet, but we'll continue here. Hey, brother, appreciate you. What's up, nobody knows? Hey, Max, RIP Will Fix, 100%. Stevie C, Ruin Max, legends. Thanks, Craig. Yes, RIP. For real. Julian, Dreamer. What's up, Dreamer? Awesome live, bro. Detroit 313, salutations. Appreciate it, brother. Is this airdrop for uphold or all XRP holders? Thank you kindly. The reward, it seems to be, it was only for uphold people, and it seems to be like it's over. They told us about it kind of after it ended. They didn't even give us a chance to get over there or nothing. So as far as we know, that reward, the way they worded it was a reward that could have been the airdrop. Or maybe there's an airdrop that comes later. They have been coy about it. They have not really addressed it. People have kind of made comments like, is this the airdrop and stuff like that, and complaints about it. But the way they worded it, it could have not been the airdrop. So I don't know. We'll see. Is the bull run over? Definitely not over. When this ISO stuff hits 7/14, saying that sticks that date, or in 11/22 saying that date sticks, it's gonna be craziness. And you can already see that the laws are catching up and lining up with it. Now that we have the Genius Act, banks can kind of deal with these stable coins. Man, it's coming close to the point where banks will be able to stake. Banks will be able to stake crypto, and they'll be able to stake it and have zero capital gains tax on it. Like that's really what's coming true, like clear, right? Banks are not going to be taxed to stake the crypto. They're going to stake it as though it was money, because most of them are going to be American cryptos. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to, like, when you really look at it, it's opening the door for crypto to just be really massively adopted and used as though it's money. Mr. Crypto Boombastic, call Root Crew fantastic. Buy the dips and call him Mr. Low. Matic. Oh, Max, you be killing me with those, bro. You're from Detroit? Yeah, I'm from Detroit, bro. What up, though? Yeah, man. Grew up on Robinwood and Hawthorne, bro. And then we moved from Robinhood and Hawthorne to like Boston, Linwood area. I went to University of Detroit Jesuit High School. Yeah, bro. I'm a Detroiter out here. Maximus Crypto, Sup Dreamer. Gino Lim. Rue. What up, Gino? Dreamer, hey Max, hope you're good, man. I'll push your subs, Rue. You deserve it. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it, Craig. Appreciate it. Definitely, man. We're trying to push it to the max over here, man. We want to get to 10K subs, guys. So definitely continue to subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. I'm not, but I do appreciate it. Freedom 202. What's up? What's up, Freedom 202? Download motivation. Zebec also means Babylon in Gematria. Ooh, is that true? That's interesting. Craig Patillo, ruin max equals honest information, 100%. Positive vibes sent to you, Max. Take, buddy. Babylon is where it all began after the flood. Yep. Cloud 99 airdrop uphold users with 50K dollars of XRP on the Uphold exchange. Yep. Nice job, boys. What's up, Scotty T? Really download. That's a cool download. Thank you for that. Also says the seal is broken. I handle benefits for small, medium-sized companies and get involved with payroll. Most employers hate their current payroll service. That's cool, man. Yeah. See, well, that's more of a boon and advantage for ZBCN to come in there and scoop up all these guys who are unhappy with it. I can imagine, right? Cause too, like, what happens when you're like, now you got to do it early because of, there's so many things. XRP, ZBCN, ArcBlock, Maple Finance, my top 4. Ruel, my dog. What's up? My thick. Am I getting this right? My thick Ultradon. Mythical. No, it's mythical. Mythical Trident. Mythical Trident. See, I would read that as my thick something, right? Terrible person. Terrible guy. That's what's on my mind. What's up, Craig Patillo? And Quant. Yep. What's up, OG Crypto? Hey, what's the news? Just we went over a Zebec Spaces, a compliance Spaces, which was very, very good news in my mind. Seems like Zebec is going to embed digital identity into their payroll. Mythical Trident, I've been in Zebec since 0.0011. Let's go. There's no mobility in poverty. 100%. Let's start that. Yeah, because we think, the whole, WEF thing and like 15-minute cities, but most people that are really poor have not been out of their city at all, man. And that's crazy to think about. And with cryptocurrency, people really have the ability to change that. They just have to see through, it's a scam. They just have to see through that. Power button is the brain, implying the pineal gland. Illuminati. Thank you, Bullish Choices. I always wonder what that power button is about because you see so many people using that as a symbol lately. I don't know, but a lot of people are using that as a symbol lately. Also, they're using the chevron as a symbol lately too. The upside down V. Not so sure. What does the chevron mean? Do you guys know that one? What's up, Jack Thompson? I'm here, Sir Ruel. Shalom, brother. The power button symbol means the back of your brain. Got it. Google the power button symbol and the back of brain symbolism, and it should bring up the images. Thank you there, brother. Pharmacopoeia. Let me take a picture of that. Yeah, if anybody knows what the chevron means, because a lot of people are using the chevron lately here. See, like, you know, Magic the Gathering, they use it. A few different people use the chevron here. Bugatti, ZBC in the $5. Exactly, Boo. Hello, Max. LOL, they ain't ready. Crypto Crossroads Show, let's go. Shout out to bro, Crypto Crossroads Show. Let's show his channel right quick. Again, bro just started his channel like 3 months ago. So if you're just looking at subscribers and you're saying, "Oh no," or whatever, I've definitely vouched for this gentleman's information. He's given me information in the past, so don't look at that and honestly know that this guy has some of the best information around. He's giving me information on Swift and other things. Definitely, you will want to check him out. Again, like I said, he just started his channel 3 months ago, but that's only his channel. He's always been a good researcher out here. Definitely check him out. Since he's talked about IXS, I think it's already done a 2 or 3x. So shout out and congratulations to bro on that one. Definitely check bro out if you want some alpha. Shout out to you, Crypto Crossroads Show. And as soon as I can get my own life here straight with the stuff I do with my engineering and stuff, you will see us do a collaboration here. Shout out to Crypto Crossroads Show. Let's see here. Julian, Circle, let it grow. Let's go. Mark Thompson, yes, everything will run off the XRP ledger. 777. Oh, 14. Yeah, the jackpot. The jackpot. That's right. Thank you for reminding me about that. Kafum. 11/20/11/22 is another important date. Both numbers double. Yes, that's nice. Thank you guys. Settle down. XRP equals Metallica. XPR equals Metallicus. So XPR and Swift 33-cent target. Yes, 100%. Also, when are you making another Lightlink video? When we do our collab, man. I wanna highlight some of the stuff that you've done. As far as like, I'm not gonna tell them. I'm gonna leave for the collab. Yeah, when we do the collab, let me get with you because I really want to do it next week. Big secrets about to take play. Bro, at download, if you're still in the chat, because you said you have my mind blown. Gematria calculator, y'all should type Zebec. Compliance, leave it at that. Do your own research, guys. That's all. XPR has 27 billion coins in circulation. 30 billion in total supply loss. Okay. In that case, maybe they can do $1. But I'd like to have some like supply that I can compare to it. Like for instance, like with XPR or with ZBCN, the reason why I said 5 to 10 cents is because I've seen coins with XPR or with ZBCN's supply in a bull run go to 5 to 10 cents. So that made me like really comfortable to say that. So I had to do some checking on XPR and see what coins are in that range and what they've done in bull runs. In my opinion, ZBCN has the best opportunity because HBAR and XRP was the same price a few years ago before it went to a few cents. Yep. I grew up around Conant and McNichols and Davidson area. Yeah, I know that area well. I used to go like there's like this KFC on like Davidson and I think McNichols, and I would go to that KFC all the time. Or was it a Coney Island? One of the two, man. It's been a while since I've been back home. It's been like 10 years since I've been back to Detroit. What up, bro? Much love. James May. Look it up on the gematria calendar, bro. At the second phase that comes up. Please pull it up, brother. Well, let's pull up the gematria calendar. Why not? Or calculator. Why not? You guys know I love that type of stuff. Gematria calculator. Okay, so we got ZBC, which is its old ticker. Then we got ZBCN. We got XPR. No, XRP, I mean. XRP. Of course, XPR is the same. XC. XDC. And then XLM. Okay, so as you can see, all of these same XLM, XDC, XRP, and XPR, 1414, 55, 4, right? 1 plus 3, 1 plus 3, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2. And here we got 13, 5 plus 8, 4 plus 9, and you can see 31, right? So when it was ZBC, it was kind of tuned up right with these guys. Then they added the N and they put it in tune with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, when I see this, the 4.5, the 1.8, like when they're all 9, that's immutability to me. Immutable. That's what this is an attribute of God, that he's immutable, unchangeable. So Bitcoin, ZBCN. So is this what we were referencing here, Julian? Let me know. Everybody, please hit the like and subscribe button. Root Crew all day. Mine is blown. Let's go. Birds, Philly in the house. Scott T. I'm back. What I miss? Hell yeah. Do you think digital identity mixed with HBAR? It might be, man. It might be. Thank you, Third Eye Boy, 85 Rams. Have you done a vid on Cubic? Not yet. I need to. For the £2, $1.99 in pounds. Appreciate that. Cubic equals quantum computing. Craig Patillo. Yeah, I need to do a video on them. Scotty, what have you done for me lately? I hit Philly over a parlay and Super Bowl. The chevron is an image of a cube viewed in a certain angle. Interesting. Is it? Okay. Detroit and LA in the house. What's up, Jose De La Torre? Real, don't forget, let me know when you're having MC Hammer live on your show. He loves likes crypto. Yeah, man, I should have Hammer on here, bro. MC Hammer, you're welcome. Anytime you want to come on the show, hit me up in my DMs, Hammer, if you watch the show. I would love to have Hammer on the show, bro. Because I swear, he is into crypto. Almost every good crypto I see, MC Hammer is following it. Pissarro, what's up? MC ZBCN, number one vote. Trust me, bro. BG123 riddles. No one has spoke about what metaphor the star is. Lumia, from what I found, is the only crypto with a star. Lumia used to be called the Orion Protocol. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. I remember the Orion Protocol. It's like a isn't it like multi-platform? Interesting. But could that also be interstellar since stellar lumens, or no? If you go to Lumia's website, it connects Wall Street and Main Street. My opinion is Lumia is Wall Street's blockchain. Okay. Thank you, no rush. I appreciate it, brother. Trump recently spoke about bringing in 10 trillion. Lumen is stating they're bringing 10 trillion on chain. Lumia is real world asset tokenization. Okay, I'll have to look into Lumia. I bought White Rock when it was Wall Street coin. Nice. What's up, Lee? Again. Thank you for your service. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Scotty. Lee, are you sure? They're focused on financial institutions. I watched their live stream from their X channel. Is Ondo and White Rock connected, but not the main chain? Lumia's website has promising information. It looks extremely professional. You have come a long way, Rue. Very proud of you and Max as your mentor. Much love from the XRP Army. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, man, and much thanks for Max, man. I appreciate him, bro. Like really a true friend out here, man. What's your price prediction for Velo? This bull run has been dead for a while. Well, Velo with all the connections to Build L or Build with BlackRock, I really could see $1. I could really see $1 Velo. But they have all those tokens that they could possibly dump on us. So we'll see, man. I think they're holding those tokens just like Stronghold. Those tokens for Velo, they might just one day announce that they're going to escrow them. So we shall see. They're having it on architecture and is first to work on connecting the XRP ledger. Yep. That's White Rock. Having trouble pulling up the website right now, but it's one they use in the Jewish tradition. Yep, that's the Chevron. Tokenomics Lumia 238.8 million supply. What does that mean, Fazaro, that supply? That looks like a number I recognize. The first two words pulled up are Babylon, and the second seal is broken. For some reason, site won't load up for me on my phone right now. White Rock tokens White Rock claims to have many contracts with financial institutions, so maybe Ondo is linking to them. Yep. Divisible to I9s. Okay. Got you. Yes. In one live stream, White Rock said they have 11K institutions. And of course the 11 number, gotta love that. That's a number. Cool, guys. We made it 3 hours today. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Thank you for the active chat. Definitely like and subscribe. And of course, if you made it to the end, put compliance in the chat. It helps spread the video around. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back. We'll probably be back on maybe tomorrow, Friday. But thank you guys so much. We're out. Peace.